Welcome back, mamas. I am so happy today again to be with RN and a friend of mine, Jodi Waugh, here from Ontario in Canada. And if you missed the last episode, make sure you go back because we had a great introduction as to what she does as an RN and helping in labor and delivery. So today we wanted to follow up on what we started talking about last time. So welcome, Jodi. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
We were talking about the importance of having your team. And for a lot of women, that might just be their spouse, right? But we definitely want to talk about if you can involve a doula or a midwife, or, what have you seen that is really valuable in that area?
All of them. You can have a whole team. I mean, because labor and delivery is a very involved thing. So everybody is different, and this is each woman needs to figure out. Each mama needs to figure out what's best for them. Some women want a lot of touching and massaging and pressure points and involvement. Other women really, truly want to go into a trance state and don't want anybody touching them, don't want anyone talking to them, don't want anything done. So sometimes getting with these people, having interviews with doulas or midwives, talking to your partner, reflecting on yourself. What kind of person are you when you get into a stressful situation? It's important to know how you are when you get into that. Do you want those involvements? And there's a big difference between a doula and a midwife. A doula basically is there just to support you, to help you. Each doula is different. Again, you need to interview your doula that you two mesh really well, because they should be helping you through breathing. They should be helping you through techniques to help decrease the pain, to work through your labor contractions. They should be explaining as things progress what's happening, what to expect in the different stages, because there's different stages, and I'm sure you guys are going to cover this, different stages of labor itself. There's the early stages and the active stage. So we just want to make sure that as those stages progress and change, that the doula is there helping you and supporting you. There actually are some studies that actually show that when you have a support person there, that most women or moms that are in labor actually use less medications when they have that support person with them. They also have studies that show that with midwives and labor and delivery doulas, that they actually have a decreased statistical chance of having a C-section. That doesn't mean it won't, because you need a C-section for different reasons. But a lot of times, if you have that support person working through you, helping you not fight contractions, it sounds like a weird thing, but I always try to talk to moms when we're in labor, is when you feel that wave of pain coming at you, rather than tighten up and fight and go against it, which is an instinct that most people want to do, is rather go into it. And sometimes I describe it as like a water and a wave, as you know that contraction's coming up, to breathe through it and work through it. And then once you hit that peak, I'm talking to the moms quietly, calm manner, saying, okay, once you get the peak, that pain's going away. And I always say that contraction's gone forever. You will never have to go through that one contraction again. And we're one contraction closer to having a baby. So having that person work with you and let your body relax and do what it's naturally doing makes a huge difference. So the doula is all the emotional part of it. The midwives, there's a huge advantage of midwives over doctors, because midwives are there to actually do the emotional support as well, but they're also there to do the physical stuff of helping you with the actual delivery. So they're the ones that help with the catching of the baby, the pushing of the baby, and talking you through the active labor parts of it. The really advantage of having a midwife, I had 2 home deliveries myself. So having midwives is they get to spend a lot more time with you. If you had a delivery in hospital with a physician, you sometimes see the doctor for 5-10 minutes. And I love my docs, but don't get me wrong, but you see them at the very end. It's the nurses that are with the moms 95% of the time, and the doc comes in for the final catch of the baby. That's it. Whereas the midwives are there with you, either home delivery or hospital delivery, because at least in Canada, the midwives have privileges inside the hospital. And sometimes they go into their area, and as nurses and docs, they never really see the midwives because they do the whole entire delivery with themselves and with the people, and there's no interventions. But one advantage of being in hospital with a midwife, if things were to go sour, then they always have that option of calling in an obstetrical doctor or OB/GYN to help assist if things are going bad.
Right, right. And you know what, when you were saying about the doctor coming in for the final catch, it's so true. It made me think of the analogy of the football player running the touchdown, right? Gets all the glory.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything that happened before that is so important.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, it's the whole team. That's awesome. So okay, so the doula is there for the support. I really understand that. And I love the idea of really interviewing them, right? And can they do that like on a Zoom? Is that a way to do it, or meet them in person is better?
I would have to look up in your local area to see what it is, because again, life has changed so much with COVID, right? Like
Yeah.
Everything used to be in person, and now there's so much that we're now doing over Zoom. I mean, I would hope that the person would be there with you in your room, but again, life has changed. So having that person there with you, however it can be, whether it's electronically, but in person is just nice, because having that pressure support, the lower back, having somebody help hold the pressure of your pelvis when the baby's traveling down through the birth canal, having somebody do cold compresses on your forehead, or giving you ice chips when you need them. So it's nice having the person in person. But I would interview a couple different people just to see.
That's what I actually meant. Yeah, sorry, the interview part. Yeah. I want them there for them in person. But yeah, I'm thinking, gee, you could even interview 3 people. You don't have to meet them. You could just interview them, right? And see if you click.
And you want to ask them, like, what techniques do you guys like to use? Do you guys like to use the Lamaze technique? Do you like to use the Bradley technique? Do you like to use meditation? Like, what technique do you use? And then you guys can either research those different techniques, because again, each mama is different. Each partner is different, support person is different, and then each doula is different. So personalities are different. So you need to figure out, kind of reflect in yourself and talk to them. What doula, what do you do for me in labor and delivery? What do you like to do for the partner? Because some people and some partners, I always laugh. When I teach nursing students, I always say, you're going to have partners that are being one extreme to the other. You've got some partners that are sitting on the couch playing on their phones or reading the newspapers, and then you've got other dads. I'm trying to do a vag exam and their head's down there in my way. I'm like, so when you're done looking, can I look? Like, so you've got partners, and so this is a whole group effort. So you need to make sure that your doula is going to mix well with your partner as well. So they should be there for the support or the interview to make sure that all of you guys are going to mesh together well. So you want to get into the throes of labor and go, okay, your personality is really starting to tick me off. Like, you want to make sure you're all going to get along well in that situation.
Right. And so this is so interesting to me, because it's been many decades since I've had my children, but I've helped thousands of mamas with, the relaxation throughout, many years of their, helping them with their pregnancies. But it just made me realize again, the importance of being able to pivot and change, because I like what you said, find out if you're comfortable, if you want to zen out and relax, or if you want someone to touch you. I never thought of that, but I do remember when I was in labor, it was don't touch me. And I didn't know that's how I was going to react. Right. Yeah. So got to be prepared for anything in that area. Right.
Right.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. So, of course I'm making notes, because now you're something else we'll talk about before, some stories about partners too, right? Experiences. And, we want them part of the experience too, right? We don't want to leave them out.
Oh, I always talk to students about involving partners, and I think sometimes they're feel like a fish out of water. They want to support their partner, and they are upset that they're in pain, but they just don't know what to do. So spend some time with them, talking to them. And again, you don't want a doula that's going to push your partner away and do everything, and then your partner sitting there going, well, I'm trying to help, but I don't know what to do. They keep pushing me out of the situation. You want the wife or the mama to look back and go, wow, my partner was so amazing and helped me through all of that. You want the doula to help support that partner to be involved with it, and not just to sit on the sidelines and be an observer of what's going on. So if that's what your partner wants to be.
Yes. Wonderful.
Same thing with midwives. It's the same thing. I interviewed, I think 3 before because of having my nursing and labor and delivery background. I'm like, what would you do with this complication and this complication and this complication? If they couldn't tell me off the snap of a fingers, I'm like, nope, I'm not comfortable with you with a home delivery. So it took me a bit to find the one that suited me because of my nurse history.
Yes. Wow, they must have felt under the gun.
Well, they found out pretty quick that I don't goof around when I'm in labor.
That's awesome. So you know what? Another time we can help mamas with questions like you just said to ask. That's brilliant because sometimes you just don't know, right? So that'll be awesome. And if you're up to it, one time I'd love to talk about your home deliveries too, and you know what works. And
there's very short stories.
Are they? Well, that's good. That's good for mamas. They want a short delivery. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so thank you so much for that. We're going to get back on, and I hope one day we can get a live Zoom, because it would be great if mamas could ask some questions while we're speaking too, right? Because I know things come up and then they think, I wish I would have asked that later, but if you have the time for that again. And I so appreciate your time. Thank you, Jodi. We will have you back on again.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, remember, mamas, a healthy, happy mama means a healthy, happy baby, and you keep doing what you're doing because you are awesome. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for dropping by and watching the show with me today. I hope you really got something out of it. Hey, listen, I just want to remind you that if you are carrying a baby, you also need to be carrying a subscription to our YouTube channel, because we're going to give you all the information that you really need to make the most out of your pregnancy and have the most enjoyable journey. And I have a very special offer I want to tell you about. I've been helping moms enjoy their pregnancy, reduce pain, and get the most out of their pregnancy for over 20 years. And I've built an online workshop that I'm doing right now to help new moms really understand the 3 fundamental secrets that you need to know so that you can go through your entire pregnancy and labor with as little pain as possible. So if you want to watch the workshops and join me, go to havingababy.io. We'll see you on the next show.